Self-control is strength, right thought is mastery, calmness is power. As a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he be. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. There can be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice. Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. He who would accomplish little needs sacrifice little. He who would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain highly must sacrifice greatly. Whatever you can do, or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Goethe. A person is limited only by the thoughts that he chooses. The vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by, this you will become. In all human affairs there are efforts, and there are results, and the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. As he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains. As the physically weak man can make himself strong by careful and patient training, so the man of weak thoughts can make them strong by exercising himself in right thinking. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Mind is the master weaver, both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment of circumstance. To desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. You will become as small as your controlling desire, as great as your dominant aspiration. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. The key to happiness is having dreams. The key to success is making them come true. No man is hindered by another, he is only hindered by himself. No man suffers because of another, he suffers only because of himself. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. All evil is corrective and remedial, and is therefore not permanent. Thought is the fountain of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to reflect their inner beliefs. Suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. As the plant springs from, and could not be without, the seed, so every act of man springs from the hidden seeds of thought, and could not have appeared without them. The sole and supreme use of suffering is to purify, to burn out all that is useless and impure. Think lovingly, speak lovingly, act lovingly, and every need shall be supplied. Man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. Suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. The circumstances which a man encounters with suffering are the result of his own mental inharmony. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not long remain so if you but perceive an ideal and strive to reach it. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Fixedness of purpose is the root of all successful efforts. The man who thinks hateful thoughts brings hatred upon himself. The man who thinks loving thoughts is love. The studied elimination of non-essentials from one's daily life is a vital factor in all great achievement. He is poor who is dissatisfied. He is rich who is contented with what he has, and he is richer who is generous with what he has. One man is an oppressor because many are slaves. Let us despise the slaves. Spiritual meditation is the pathway to divinity. It is a mystic ladder which reaches from earth to heaven, from error to truth, from pain to peace. Every action and feeling is preceded by a thought. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. When mental energy is allowed to follow the line of least resistance and to fall into easy channels, it is called weakness. The measure of a man's truth is the measure of his love, and truth is far removed from him whose life is not governed by love. Unrest and pain and sorrow are the shadows of life. Not what he wishes and prays for does a man get, but what he justly earns. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts bear bad fruit. Self-seeking is self-destruction. A man remains ignorant because he loves ignorance and chooses ignorant thoughts. A man becomes wise because he loves wisdom and chooses wise thoughts. Another hidden sacrifice, one of great spiritual beauty and of powerful efficacy in the healing of human sorrows, is the cynic sees the hat and coat and thinks he sees the man. The sympathetic seer sees the man and is not concerned with the hat and coat. A teacher is a sower of seed, a spiritual agriculturist, while he who teaches himself is the wise farmer of his own mental plot. For true success, ask yourself these 4 questions. Why? Why not? Why not me? Why not now? He who would be useful, strong, and happy must cease to be a passive receptacle for the negative, beggarly, and impure streams of thought. Circumstance does not make the man. Work joyfully and peacefully, knowing that right thoughts and right efforts inevitably bring about right results. He that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Thus meditating, you will no longer strive to build yourself up in your prejudices, but, forgetting self, you will remember only that you are seeking the truth. Jesus brooded upon the divine immanence until at last he could declare, I and my Father are one. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Nature gives all, without reservation, and loses nothing. Man or woman, grasping all, loses everything. The divinity that shapes our ends is in ourselves. They who have conquered doubt and fear have conquered failure. The more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success, his influence, his power for good. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct end result of his very own mind. The man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion can never fail to accomplish the object upon which his heart is set. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, and so indirectly, yet surely, shape his circumstances. He must avoid quarreling as he would avoid drinking a deadly poison. Circumstances do not shape us so much as they reveal us. There is an unavoidable tendency to become literally the embodiment of that quality upon which one most constantly thinks. The strong, calm man is always loved and revered. He is like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land, or a sheltering rock in a storm. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and you can find every truth connected with your being, if you will dig deep into the mine of your soul. If one endure in purity of thought, joy follows him as his own shadow, sure. Aimlessness is a vice, and such drifting must not continue for him who would steer clear of catastrophe and destruction. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallize into weak, unmanly, and irresolute habits, which solidify into circumstances of failure, indigence, and slavish dependence. He no longer acts from self, but does what is right, what is universally and eternally right. Thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplished anything, and never can. The world is your kaleidoscope, and the varying combinations of colors, which at every succeeding moment it presents to you, are the exquisitely adjusted pictures of your ever-moving thoughts. You will be what you will to be. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, despondency rob the body of its health and grace. The price of life is effort. The acme of effort is accomplishment. The reward of accomplishment is joy.